My girlfriend confessed to kissing another guy while drunk. She says, "At least I told you, but something feels off." Am I overreacting? Okay, Reddit. I am going to try to keep this coherent because my head is still spinning from what happened this weekend. My girlfriend Amber and I have been together just over a year, and honestly, I was thinking about asking her to move in with me next month. We are both in Columbus, Ohio. I work in it for a mid-sized company downtown. She does event marketing for this trendy firm that handles all the big parties and corporate events around the city. So this past Saturday night, she went out with her roommate Samantha to some club downtown while I stayed home working on this project deadline that has been killing me. Pretty normal weekend setup for us. You know, Amber loves the nightlife scene, hitting up the bars with her girlfriends, dancing until 2 in the morning. I am more of a pizza and Netflix guy. Maybe catch a game with my buddy Derek. Nothing too crazy. We have always made it work though. Different social batteries, but we balance each other out. At least I thought we did. Sunday morning I drive over to her loft apartment to grab breakfast together like we always do on weekends. She lives in this converted warehouse building downtown with exposed brick and huge windows. Pretty nice place that she splits with Samantha. The second I walk in the door, I know something's wrong. Usually she is bouncing around the kitchen making coffee, telling me about all the drama from the night before, who said what to who, all that stuff. But this time she is just sitting at her little kitchen table in yesterday's clothes, pale as hell, will not even look at me when I say good morning. I pour myself some coffee from the pot she made and sit down across from her. She keeps fidgeting with her mug, turning it around and around in her hands. Finally, she just breaks down crying. "Nathan, I have to tell you something," she says, and my stomach immediately drops because that is never good news. Right? Last night at the club, something happened. I was really drunk, and I kissed someone. Some random guy I would never met before. It didn't mean anything. I swear to God it didn't mean anything, but I kissed him. I am sitting there at her little kitchen table, just staring at her, trying to process what she just said. My dad cheated on my mom when I was 12, completely destroyed our family. So this kind of stuff hits different for me, you know? I can feel my chest getting tight, that familiar panic starting to creep in. But then she says, this thing that has been stuck in my head ever since. "At least I told you though, right? I mean, I could have just kept it secret, but I respect you too much for that. That has to count for something." I said, "I guess honesty is a start because, honestly, what else do you say in that moment? Your brain just kind of shuts down." She keeps going on about how it was just a stupid mistake, how she pulled away after like 5 seconds, how she felt sick about it all night and couldn't sleep. She is crying harder now, mascara running down her cheeks, and I am just sitting there in shock trying to figure out what this means for us. Here is what is really messing with my head though. She seemed almost proud when she said that "at least I told you" part. Like she was expecting credit for confessing. Like she had done something admirable by coming clean. The way she emphasized it, the way she looked at me when she said it, like she was waiting for me to pat her on the back or something. And she was so specific about it being just a kiss. Kept repeating that phrase over and over. It was just a kiss. Nathan. Just a stupid, meaningless kiss. But something in her voice when she said it, something in her eyes, made me feel like there was more to the story. I told her I needed time to think and went home to my apartment. That was yesterday afternoon. Since then, she has been texting me non-stop, asking if we are okay, saying she loves me, promising it will never happen again. This morning, I woke up to like 15 messages from her, each one more desperate than the last. "Baby, please talk to me. I know you are hurt, but we can work through this. I am so sorry. I would do anything to take it back. Don't let one stupid mistake ruin what we have. I have been walking around my apartment all day trying to figure out how I feel about this. Part of me wants to believe that everyone makes mistakes, that people can learn from this kind of thing. The honesty should count for something, right? She could have lied, could have taken it to her grave, but she chose to tell me instead. But then there is this other part of me, this voice in the back of my head that sounds suspiciously like my best friend Derek, saying that something doesn't add up here. Why was she so eager to emphasize the "at least I told you" part? Why did she seem almost proud of herself for confessing? And why do I have this nagging feeling that I am only getting part of the story? Maybe I am being paranoid. Maybe I am letting my dad's mistakes color how I see this situation. Maybe this really is just a one-time thing that happened when she was too drunk to think straight, and I should be grateful that she was honest about it. But Reddit, I cannot shake this feeling that there is more going on here. The way she kept emphasizing how drunk she was, the way she made sure to mention that she pulled away like she deserves credit for that, the way she seemed to be managing the conversation rather than just honestly confessing. What would you do in this situation? Is this something couples can work through, or am I being naive? Should the fact that she told me voluntarily really count for as much as she seems to think it does? Because right now, instead of feeling grateful for her honesty, I mostly just feel like I don't know who I have been dating for the past year. I keep replaying that moment in my head when she said, "At least I told you." The tone, the expectation in her voice. It has been bothering me for 2 days now, and I cannot figure out why. Update 1 Reddit. You guys were absolutely right to be suspicious about that. "At least I told you" line. This is going to be long because so much has happened since my original post. And honestly, I need to get all of this off my chest. First, thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. A lot of you said that her emphasis on getting credit for confessing was a red flag. That people who are genuinely remorseful don't usually fish for praise like that. You said the way she seemed proud of her honesty was weird. And man, you were absolutely right about everything. So after I posted the original post, I spent a few days really thinking about what you all said. The more I thought about it, the more that conversation bothered me. Not just the kiss itself, but the whole way she handled telling me about it. It felt calculated, like she had rehearsed it. I decided to talk to my best friend Derek about the whole situation. He is a gym coach at the local high school, played football in college, doesn't sugarcoat anything. We met at our usual sports bar Tuesday after work. This place called Murphy's, where we have been going since college. It has got like 20 TVs showing different games, smells like beer and buffalo wings. Exactly the kind of place where you can have a serious conversation without it feeling too heavy. I am barely through ordering my usual beer when Derek cuts right to the chase. "Dude," he says, not even waiting for me to finish talking to the bartender. "If you had kissed another girl at some bar, would Amber be having this conversation with you right now?" I am like, "What do you mean?" "I mean, she would have dumped your ass already and blocked your number. She would have." "Don't let her flip this into you being the bad guy for being upset about her cheating on you." That hit me like a truck because he was absolutely right. Amber has zero tolerance for what she considers disrespect. She once stopped talking to one of her college friends for a week because the friend didn't text back fast enough about birthday plans. She got mad at me for 3 days because I liked an Instagram photo of my ex from 2 years ago. Said it was inappropriate and hurtful. But somehow I am supposed to just get over her kissing someone else because she confessed. Derek keeps going while I am processing this. And this whole "at least I told you" thing. Man, that is not how remorse works. That is how manipulation works. When people feel genuinely bad about something, they don't ask for credit for feeling bad about it. We talked for like 2 hours, and by the end of it, I was seeing the whole situation completely differently. Derek helped me realize that Amber wasn't acting like someone who had made a terrible mistake. She was acting like someone who was managing a situation. I went back to Amber's place that night ready to have a real conversation about what this meant for us. She has got these string lights hanging all around her living room, very cozy and romantic, and the second I walk in she is all over me. "Baby, I am so glad you are here. I knew you would understand how sorry I am. I knew we could work through this together." But when I brought up Derek's point about the double standard, about how she would never tolerate this from me, she got defensive real fast. "That is completely different," she says. "I am more emotional than you are. I couldn't handle something like that, but you are stronger. You are more rational. The more we talked, the more frustrated I got." She kept minimizing what happened. "It was just a kiss. Nathan, just a stupid, meaningless kiss. You are blowing this way out of proportion." When I said that it didn't matter if it was just a kiss, that the betrayal was the same, she got this look on her face like I was being unreasonable. That is when I realized something that should have been obvious from the beginning. She wasn't sorry about betraying my trust. She was sorry that she felt guilty about it. There is a huge difference between those two things. And I had been too shocked to see it clearly before. But here is where the story gets really interesting. Reddit. Saturday morning, we decide to grab brunch at this busy cafe downtown called The Grind. It is always packed on weekends. Lots of young professionals, good coffee, that kind of scene. Samantha joins us because she wants to check in on how we are doing, which I thought was sweet at the time. We are sitting at this little table by the window. And Samantha's being her usual chatty self, talking about Friday night, laughing about how drunk everyone got, asking if Amber's feeling better about the whole situation. She is clearly trying to be supportive. Then she says, completely casually while cutting into her pancakes, "Well, at least this time you told him right away." I literally stopped mid-bite. The fork just froze halfway to my mouth, and I set it down real slow on the plate. "This time," I said. The look on Amber's face in that moment. Reddit. I will never forget it. I have never seen someone go that pale that fast. Her eyes went wide, then immediately darted to Samantha, and I could see her trying to figure out how to handle this. Samantha's eyes go huge, like she just realized what she said. Oh shit, I thought. She starts, but Amber cuts her off real quick. "Sam, don't. What? Don't tell me the truth about my own relationship." I set my fork down and looked directly at Amber. This time, she starts crying again, but it is different now. Not the dramatic, guilt-ridden tears from Sunday morning. These are scared tears, panicked tears. "Nathan," I can explain. "It is not what you think." But I wasn't interested in explanations anymore. I stood up from that table, threw $20 down for my food, and walked out of that cafe without looking back. Left both of them sitting there with their mouths open. I spent the rest of the weekend at Derek's place trying to process this revelation. His guest room has become like my second home lately. There have been other times, other guys, other mistakes that she decided I didn't need to know about. The girlfriend I thought was brave enough to confess her mistakes to me, she has actually been lying to my face, for who knows how long. That "at least I told you" line wasn't about honesty or respect. It was about damage control. She only told me about Saturday night because something made her think she had to. I kept thinking about everything she had said that Sunday morning, and now it all made sense. The way she emphasized being drunk, the way she was so specific about it being just a kiss, the way she seemed proud of herself for telling me. She was giving me the minimum amount of truth she thought she could get away with. Sunday night, I texted her and said, I wanted to meet Monday to get the whole truth. The real truth this time. Not whatever version she thought would be easiest for me to swallow. Her response came back in like 30 seconds. "Yes, anything you want to know. I love you so much, Nathan. I promise I will tell you everything." But here is the thing that really gets me. Reddit. Even in that text, even when she is promising to be honest, there is still this undertone of her managing the situation. Anything you want to know suggests, there are things I might not want to know. I will tell you everything suggests she has been holding things back. I am meeting with her tonight to get the whole truth. Part of me doesn't want to know how deep this goes, but I cannot stay with someone when I don't even know what I am supposed to be forgiving. Derek said something yesterday that has been stuck in my head. Man, if someone has to promise to tell you everything about your own relationship, what does that say about who they really are? Will update after we talk tonight. Wish me luck. Reddit. I have a feeling I am going to need it. My best friend made me realize girlfriend's confession was manipulation. Then her roommate accidentally revealed this wasn't the first time she had cheated. Meeting tonight to get the full truth. Whatever that means at this point. Update 2. I don't even know where to start with this update. You guys tried to prepare me for it to be bad, but this is on a completely different level than anything I was expecting. Monday night, I went over to Amber's loft for what I figured would be our final conversation. It was raining that night, one of those heavy October downpours, and those big warehouse windows in her apartment were all streaked with water. The whole place felt different somehow. Less like the cozy space I used to love hanging out in. More like a crime scene where I was about to get all the evidence laid out. I sat down on her couch and said, I want the truth. All of it. Everything you have been hiding from me. And don't you dare try to spin this as you being honest with me, because we both know that is complete nonsense now. She broke down completely. I am talking full hyperventilating, ugly crying. The whole thing, but she talked. For like 3 hours straight. She talked. Remember how she kept emphasizing that Saturday night was just a kiss? Yeah, well, turns out there was nothing just about any of this. 4 months ago, back in June, she went to this marketing conference in Chicago. Her company paid for everything. Fancy hotel downtown, meal allowances, the whole corporate package. She told me it was going to be boring, just networking events and seminars about digital marketing trends. On the second night of the conference, She met this guy from their Denver branch at the hotel bar. According to her, they really connected talking about work stuff, had amazing conversation for hours. I am listening to this thinking, okay, maybe they just talked. Maybe I am about to get paranoid over nothing. But then she says they kissed in the elevator going up to their rooms. And then she invited him back to her room just to keep talking. Reddit. They didn't just talk. She swears they didn't sleep together. Says it was only crossed physical boundaries. Like that somehow makes it better. Like there is some meaningful difference between that and going all the way when you are in a committed relationship. She felt guilty afterward, she says, and cut off all contact with the guy. Never told me because it would just hurt you and it didn't mean anything anyway. But here is the thing that really kills me. This isn't even what Samantha was referring to at brunch. There was another incident, 6 weeks ago, at a different club downtown with the same group of friends. Some guy approached her at the bar. They danced, they talked, and according to her it was just flirting at first. But then he suggested they get some air outside, and she went with him. Another, just a kiss that turned into more inappropriate physical contact. More, it didn't mean anything nonsense. Another secret she decided I didn't deserve to know about. As she is telling me all this, I am sitting there realizing that for months, I have been living in a completely different relationship than she has. I thought we had trust, honesty, mutual respect, commitment. Meanwhile, she has been treating our relationship like it is open on her side only. I asked her how many other times there have been, and she swears it is just those 3 incidents. Saturday night, 6 weeks ago, and Chicago. But honestly, how can I believe anything she says at this point? She has already admitted to lying to my face for months. But wait, Reddit. It gets so much worse. I ended up staying at Derek's place again Tuesday night because I couldn't handle being alone in my apartment with all this information bouncing around in my head. Wednesday morning, I am getting ready for work, rushing around looking for my phone charger, and I accidentally grabbed Amber's charger with her phone still attached from Derek's counter. She had left both when she came by earlier trying to convince him to talk sense into me. The phone was dead since it hadn't been plugged into the wall. When it powered up, it immediately started lighting up with notifications. A group chat with her, Samantha, and 2 other friends from their usual going out crew. I know I shouldn't have looked. I know that. But Reddit, I am so glad I did. Because what I found changed everything. These girls have been joking about Amber's behavior for months. Months. Screenshots of conversations like, Amber's at it again, LOL, girl needs to learn her tequila limit. Aha, bet Nathan has no clue what he doesn't know will not hurt him, right? Our girl loves the attention. There are photos from nights out where she is clearly all over random guys. Videos of her dancing way too close with strangers while I am at home thinking she is just having innocent girls' nights. Her friends treating my girlfriend's serial cheating like it is some cute personality quirk that we all just have to accept. But the worst part, the part that made me actually sick to my stomach, was a conversation from that Saturday night that started this whole thing. Samantha wrote, "Think someone might have seen you with that guy tonight. Maybe tell Nathan just in case word gets back to him." Amber responded, "Good call. Better he hears it from me." And then, I will just say, it was a quick kiss, and I felt bad about it. He will probably forgive me if I seem sorry enough. That is why she confessed. Reddit. Not because she felt guilty, not because she respected me too much to lie, because her friend thought she might get caught, and she wanted to control the narrative. Every single "at least I told you" was calculated damage control. Every tear, every "I felt so guilty," every "it didn't mean anything" was just her managing the situation to minimize the fallout. I screenshot everything and sent it to myself before turning her phone off. Then I went to work and tried to act normal while feeling like my entire reality had just collapsed. She has been calling and texting non-stop since Monday, coming by my apartment building, leaving notes under my door, even had the nerve to call Derek, asking him to talk some sense into me. Yesterday, she left a voicemail that was like 5 minutes long, crying and begging for just one chance to prove I have changed. But here is what I keep coming back to. How do you prove you have changed from something you have been actively lying about for months? How do you rebuild trust with someone who only tells the truth when they think they are about to get caught anyway? Derek said something yesterday that has been stuck in my head like a song I cannot get rid of. She didn't make a mistake. Man, she made a series of choices, then made a series of choices to lie about those choices, then made a choice to manipulate you when she thought she might get caught. Those aren't mistakes. That is who she is. I keep thinking about all the times over the past few months when she came home from nights out, and I asked how her evening was. All the times she looked me right in the eye and said just the usual. Nothing exciting, while knowing she had been hooking up with random guys. All the times I felt lucky to have such an honest, trustworthy girlfriend. What kind of person can do that? What kind of person can lie that easily, that consistently, to someone they claim to love? I am planning to end this officially this weekend. Going to meet her one more time to tell her it is over and get my stuff back from her place. Any advice for getting through that conversation without completely losing my mind? Because right now I am oscillating between wanting to scream at her and wanting to just disappear and never see her again. So to summarize, the full truth revealed months of cheating and lying. I found a group chat showing her friends knew everything and helped her hide it. Saturday's confession was just damage control when she thought she had been seen. Planning to end it this weekend. Update 3. Well, Reddit. It is over. And honestly, I feel like I can breathe again for the first time in months. Saturday I went to Amber's loft one last time. She would clearly prepared for this conversation. Candles everywhere, my favorite dinner cooked, bottle of wine chilling. She answered the door in the blue dress I bought her for her birthday. Big smile, like nothing had happened. Nathan, baby, I am so glad you came. I made us dinner, we can talk about everything. I didn't even step inside, just stood in her doorway looking at this manipulation scene she had set up. Amber, I said, you didn't just kiss someone else. You kissed away the trust, multiple times. For months, I watched her face change as she realized this wasn't going the way she had planned. Nathan, please, just sit down. Let me explain everything properly. I understand now why you are so upset, do you? Because your group chat suggests you understood this was wrong the whole time. You just didn't think I would find out. That is when the mask finally slipped. She went from sweet and apologetic to cold and angry in seconds. You went through my phone. That is a violation of privacy. Nathan, that is not okay. I actually laughed. After everything she had done, she was trying to make me the bad guy, right? I am the one with boundary issues here. Then she tried every tactic. When crying didn't work, she got defensive. You are being completely unreasonable. Couples work through things like this all the time. It is not like I actually slept with anyone. Then guilt. You are really going to throw away a whole year over some drunken mistakes? Finally, manipulation. Fine, be dramatic. But don't come crawling back when you realize how good you had it. I chose to be honest with you, Reddit. Even while being dumped for serial cheating, she was still trying to get credit for her damage control as honesty. I looked at this woman standing in her candlelit apartment, wearing the dress I bought her, next to the dinner she made to manipulate me, and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness. Just nothing. The thing is, Amber, you didn't choose honesty. You chose to tell me just enough truth to control the damage. There is a huge difference. I walked out. She followed me to the hallway calling my name, but I didn't look back. It has been 3 weeks now. First week was rough. Not because I missed her, but because I kept expecting to feel regret. Instead, I mostly felt relieved, like I had been carrying this heavy weight and finally got to set it down. Derek's been checking in daily. How you doing, man? And honestly, I am doing great. Sleeping better, working better, just existing better without that constant anxiety. I didn't even realize I had been carrying yesterday. Something confirmed I made the right choice. I was getting coffee downtown when Samantha walks in, bundled up in her winter coat. Hey Nathan, she says, looking uncomfortable. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but Amber's already doing the same thing to her new boyfriend. New boyfriend 3 weeks later, the guy from Denver. They have been talking this whole time. She told him you guys were basically over for months, so she had been lining up my replacement while telling me how much she wanted to work things out. I thanked Samantha and walked outside into the snow. It felt like walking out of fog into sunshine. I spent over a year with someone who treated our relationship like a safety net while shopping for something better. Someone who lied daily then expected credit for partial honesty. Someone who tried to make me the villain for being hurt by her choices. But here is what I know now. I deserve someone who chooses me every day, not just when sober. Someone who tells the truth because it is right, not because they are cornered. Someone who sees our relationship as precious to protect, not convenient to exploit.